Well, hello and welcome to another episode. Veronica de Polo here. This is going to be our last interview of the year. And I really wanted to bring you in on my entrepreneurial business, which I have for many years now with my business partners. It's all about event planning, association management. And I want to get you inside to understand a little bit better how associations are actually right now changing the world that we live in. So tuning now with my business partners, Javi and Cinthya. And we're missing Rob. Yeah. Okay. But here we go. Hey, I'm Veronica de Polo, and with more than 15 years being a marketing strategist, you're going to experience the new way to promote your business with clear and unique messaging by giving you actionable marketing and messaging strategies that get you interested leads to transform the lives of your audiences so that you build up your brand with continuous momentum. Get ready, because here's where we say no to outdated marketing strategies and society norms, and we say yes to change from the inside out. Welcome to the Branding Momentum Podcast. Welcome, Javier and Cinthya. Oh my God, I'm so excited that you're both here with me. So, guys, for those of you that don't know, and I'm going to tell you very short and sweet, these are my business partners. And we're still missing another business partner, which I still don't know if we're going to do a podcast before them or after them. But yes, these are my business partners. Javier, I've known since I was 15. And Cinthya, I know since she married Javi.
She's the lucky one.
Yes, she is very lucky. We are very lucky to have her in our lives, actually.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about everything about events. And I want to start off with the first question, guys. And is, how would you define the role and purpose of associations in today's society?
Well, I'm going to jump to answer that one. I think associations, as Jim Rohn says once years ago. Jim Rohn is a consultant that spent his life working with associations. He says associations are subtle and powerful at the same time. For us, that describes what associations do to society in general. And when we're talking about associations, we're not only talking about a formal body of members. Any association is very influential, and it's subtle because you don't understand the influence that the social group power has. Social pressure, I think it's called, but actually the meaning of that is associating with the right people can get societies to move forward. I believe that associations somehow reflects what the human being is. I mean, we are social animals, and we need to be associated in order to function, whether you accept it or not. So for me, associations are at the very core of the development of growth, and the true power moving the world resides in grouping yourself with people that are going to influence you in the right direction. That's for me the power that associations have in today's and in the past world.
I would just add that I feel that associations is the tool for human development. And I think that covers all areas of human development.
I agree. I think stronger together is what I would call it, that's a perfect logo to define what an association is. Whatever niche you are, whatever industry you are, you are better together when you are within an association of your peers. So, but what kind of associations are we talking about? Because this can be governmental, this can be corporate, this can be, what kind of associations are we talking about here?
Well, in our case, I mean, we have spent a lifetime, as you know, because we know each other since many months ago.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of professional associations. We work with professional associations, and when I said that associations are powerful, is because when you get people that is moved by the same interest, by the same search, okay? Because some people don't have answers; they just get together in order to find it. In professional associations actually gather people from the same cluster, can be specialties, or it can be interests. But in our case, we work a lot with medical associations
Mm-hmm.
and also with corporate associations. So actually, you can define that as confederations in some cases, but you have associations that with a membership base composed by individuals or composed by companies.
By entities, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Intergovernmental associations are a different animal, but it still is an association where states gather together. For instance, the United Nations is an association by fact. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but it gathers countries within that membership base. But at the
Exactly.
end of the day, it is an association. So when we say that they are powerful in general, is because they gather people with the same interests and or working in the same fields in order to find solutions, in order to find different mottos, actually attract people to gather in those groups or communities. Also, community can be an association, probably not as
For sure.
formal as a professional organized association, but actually neighbors, citizens are grouping themselves up. And the fact that they are grouping around is an association, even when you don't know it.
That's true. Any thoughts, Cynthia, yourself, or we
Let's
move
move
on?
on. Pretty much the same.
Okay. Okay, good. So, how would you say that? How do associations actually leverage events and conferences to benefit their members and achieve their goals?
Well, events is just one of the tools that association use to bring out the message and give additional value to their members or their communities, but can be many. Depends on, of course, the as Javi mentioned before, depends on the objectives and the mottos and what is the reason of bringing together people. But yes, event is just one of the tools. I usually use I use the terms of being, the picture, but we need to see the entire movie. The event is just a picture, something that is happening at a current moment. But association have, a full cycle of different activities that they need to bring it, together in order to bring value to their members or bring even results or trying to get their goals aligned so they can move forward in the same direction.
I love
Yeah,
that. So it's like a sneak peek. So the event, I love that. I never heard you say that. That the event is actually like the
The spoiler
oh my
alert.
God, the sneak peek trailer, I would say, what an association would bring into your life and what would give you, like, it's like the culmination of so many things that are happening, but it happens in just one moment. But there's so many things happening behind the scenes and so many things that are happening within that same association that you provide, right?
yeah. I want to add also an angle. Events are showcases of the association work, and actually, the idea of getting together your community during a period of time to discuss and review your success, your failures, whether you achieve or not your goals, where are you moving towards what. I mean, for me, events are not only 3 days. For me, events start developing from year to year or from 2 years to 2 years, because basically is the opportunity that the associations have to showcase their mottos, their missions, their visions, their achievements, and their challenges. So it's vital that
Yeah.
those events are aligned with the needs of your membership base. And that's the leverage of it. Because in those events, sometimes we have the tendency to think of an event in a very square,
I was going to go there. I just
figure.
want to tell
Yeah.
something a little bit to our listeners that are maybe they're not probably understanding, because my crowd is very into the service-based business, but still I want to always like translate a little bit how technical this could be. We're talking about, these are conferences, congresses, these are major events that it takes years of planning. We do world events, we do Latin American events, we do federation, association. So we do exhibitions. So most of these take a long time to actually plan out. And if you've been listening to me for all this time, you know that I always say that you have to reverse engineer your actions. So meaning we always begin with the end in mind when we're doing events, and then we go backwards. We go backwards to our actions. So organizing is actually a part of marketing as well, because that is also the way that you actually can develop a strategy, develop a funnel, develop a email a sequence, develop so many things, how you want to showcase your services on social media. But so these, what we actually try to leverage with these events that we do is that we hold their hands from every single piece of what they're doing from the beginning until the end. We even are going even further to even help and bid our clients to big events and bring them to their own countries. So it's a lot more complicated than a party.
But also, Vero, a party can be meaningful. So what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
of course.
say is that if you're an association, a community, a group, and you don't actually talk to your membership base, to your members, to your group, you're gonna do it wrong. And that's the power of the associations as we're speaking, because those events should be aiming to present solutions for your membership base. So that networking that is going on in the hallways of a venue or in that party, right, should be meaningful. And by meaningful, I'm not talking about a specific cause. I'm talking about fulfilling a need. So basically, for me, the power of the association events are precisely in coming up with solutions or at least addressing a challenge during the event dates. So that's the power that I've been talking about throughout the interview, because it's very much influencing your membership base in the right way, because everybody is, realigning themselves.
I think that when you have an event for an association, that is the moment that, of course, you've been nurturing your audience, your members throughout the year, right? And the event is like actually the moment where you can actually provide them more value, more expertise, give them more updates, especially in the medical field is actually really interesting. So they can also
Their
present their
investigations
abstracts
or
and
their
work
work.
their investigations. Yes, exactly. So it is so important. Sometimes people don't realize how important, maybe some associations don't realize that you need to be able to give back to those members that are there. You cannot have a simple association and believe that people are going to keep paying for you year after year, but you're not providing anything back to them, because then they're not going to pay. They're going to simply not be there. They're not going to show up to where you want them to be. So as associations, I think it's so important to bridge the gap of that noise or that silence, actually, that silence where they can communicate, like Javi said, more networking, more value, more
It's
into
just
the
that so
future.
many things happen at the same time, especially for association events. I mean, is the exchange of knowledge, which is kind of the obvious because is maybe in this case we're talking about scientific events, but then there's also advocacy, there's investigation, there are alliances, there are also new technology, new pharma out. Of course, you have the possibility to go close to one of the opinion leaders on your field for a specific case, for a specific patient. You need to make sure that we bring in the entire community, other professionals that are linked to the health system, even patients or even associations, even even families of patients that can also receive information and valuable information. And of course, the public sector gets a lot of information, and we work for public health policies. A lot of advocacy is done also within the event. So of course, it's a major thing. We of course, as you mentioned, we need to communicate this. We need to make sure that people know what is happening within the event, so they can actually give the right value, keep engaged, of course, with the associations, and also keep engaged with the different events that we provide during the entire year, or in many associations every 2 years. Their major event.
Yeah,
Innovation is also coming out of the association world and the association events because they are coming out as a search for solutions. So it's endless.
endless, of course. And even these events are also the place or the hub where you, if you have more than one associations that belongs to this big one, is the perfect moment in that year to actually gather and decide on different things that you want to move forward with an association. Like most of every time that we do an event, we're always saying like, oh well, the committee is meeting and things like that, and so they're gonna vote if they're gonna continue with us or they're not gonna continue with us and things like that. So usually the event is very
Yes,
important.
coming back to that, of course, the event is also the opportunity for many international associations to get together, to bring together their entire board. So many important decisions and
Exactly.
strategic plannings are done within the same event. They're not directly activities within the program, or let's say scientific program, or within the schedule that you're going to follow as an assistant. But even in the event, you have board of directors, you have many opinion leaders that also, a lot of policies and decisions are being considered, and are being taken to move forward, and to have a future and a sustainable society, associations.
It's true. It's very true. It's very complex, but
And
it's
that
it's
and that is not
fascinating.
that's not happening only in medical sectors. I mean, you get that information and you just apply it to whatever you want. I mean, for a neighbors gathering,
Oh, of
for
course.
a community challenge. I mean, it's up to you. But definitely, having more than one mind working on a solution is going to come up with better results. I mean, a lot of things
Yeah.
can go wrong, but when you associate with the right people, it's going to be powerful. Just to reiterate what I'm saying.
Yes, I agree. So, what would be your top tips and tricks, if I would say, when organizing events, like success stories or mistakes to avoid? For those that are listening, that maybe you are into the events, maybe you're dabbling into that, or you are working, or you are a colleague of ours. Who knows? Let's shoot.
You want to start, Javi?
Well, actually, for me, I will say that the first advice that I can get people, I mean, give to people is never assume anything. Okay. uh, One thing is in your mind, what other thing is that what is probably happening. So never underestimate the power of checking your facts. Never assume anything. The other thing is communication. Communication is key. Whether it's a rough conversation that you may have to have with your clients or with your stakeholders, you have to face it. I mean, communication is key. Everything that you plan has a cost, whether it's obvious or is a hidden cost. You need to find out the true value of every action, every item that you are considering to implement. And the obvious thing is planning. I mean, you need to plan these things with time. You need to look at the different scenarios. You have to leave the event in your head before putting it on paper, before even offering, whether you are organizing an event for yourself or you're a professional conference organizer, or somebody in your company come and says you need to do this, you need to organize this and that. Start leaving the project before you even start planning it. You have to imagine yourself. And last but not least, have fun, because it's so stressful that if you don't have fun when you are planning all these things together, when you're feeling miserable, then you're not gonna get the right output. You need to have fun, even when you're mad, even when you're angry, when you want to just grab your computer and want to throw it to a river or whatever. In our case, to the Panama Canal that is across the street. um, even if you want to to kill your client, I mean, you must have fun. Otherwise, it's not worth it. I mean, you have to leave it. Don't take it too seriously. I mean, laughing is health, is healing. I know there are times where you don't want to look at people. You want to go and hide yourself in a corner and start crying or kicking things around. You have to have fun. Otherwise, this is not for you.
Well, of course, I have tips of my own. I believe that maybe one of the first steps is building trust with the client, with your teammates, and with the entire supplier chain, because those are also the ones that are going to go to the battlefield with you. So I believe that building trust is just something very, very, very important. And as Javi said, do not assume anything. Just and be ready to also assume that you can be wrong, and that you need to double check and triple check everything. Planning the event, even with the best tools, and having software and having an excellent team, it can be rough. And you can, of course, you're going to make mistakes. Just be ready to recognize those mistakes and be ready to react and make it better right away, instead of staying and blaming yourself for things that didn't go right. Just make sure that you're ready to recognize and do better. And then, of course, planning is key. Tools, there's a lot of tools out there that can be very, very helpful. In communication, always communicate to everybody. I remember reading this article that we're in the fifth career, more stressful career, after the uh, army. How do you call those? The entire forces.
The armed forces?
First
The first
responders,
responders, military,
police,
Oh, wow.
police,
army.
and
Yeah.
medical, and then event planners. So imagine that we're kind
Oh,
of the
wow.
same group. That in
Well, we're
exactly,
firefighters.
that is just is alarming. But still, it's fun, because one thing I can say is that there's never one day equals the other. I mean, it's always, always, always different.
Never. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. When I said to have fun, is because definitely our job is not, you don't have to follow a routine as such, because you face so many different characters. One day you're talking to a Nobel Prize, the other day you are just talking to a dreamer, right? And then you get stunned by that. You said, wow, I mean, this guy is truly a dreamer. I mean, he thinks that he can do all that with that little money. And but on the other hand, you have that Nobel Prize that don't want to be called a doctor, for instance. He just want to be called Jim, and that person is so humble and teach you so much that you get also surprised. So we're going we're going from surprise to surprise, even though we call ourselves event planners.
I wanted to add my personal thoughts on things to avoid or maybe tips here because I did work in that field for many, many years. And I'm still part of our company, of course, as an outside, I mean, as a board of directors. But I would say that listening to clients is very important. But I also believe that when you're in the service based business, you need to have boundaries. You need to establish your boundaries from the start, from whoever it is, your client. Boundaries are important. You need to be also detail oriented in a way that I would not, I mean, mistakes are going to happen, point. Take it as it is. You can plan the hell as you want it, something's going to happen. But you will learn from that mistake and you will not make that same mistake. Something else will come up. And it is what it is. It is. So when you are doing these events, whatever event it is, small, big, medium size, it doesn't matter. Just breathe. Just breathe and not think about what could go wrong. If you are in a positive vibe from the start, you will project that into that event. But you need to have your strategies, your mindset in the right place. And sometimes you have to be a little cut and dry with clients. You have to tell them, you know what? This is not going to work. You cannot be sucking up to clients sometimes. Sometimes they need some reality checks because some, like Javi said, they're in la la land. So it's your job as a project manager, organization, company to always bring back that client to reality, to what is happening. And then my last tip, of course, is to promote that event like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
Use any strategy and any tactic, anything that you may know to put those events out into the world. Because if you don't promote events, people won't know that there are the events. People won't know that they have to go to that event. And the moment that you actually share it on social media, nurture your email database from those people that are going to be in that event, people will understand. But you have to provide value. You cannot simply promote events. That doesn't work anymore. That is the old marketing. That does not work at all. You cannot post things like this is the date, this is the place, this is no. You have to build the momentum. You have to build the emotion. You have to build everything that you want to be doing for that event. You have to tap into people's conscious and heart and mind and make them feel that, oh my God, this is the event that I gotta go. Right? That is my 2 cents.
Be ready to give the
Of
extra
course.
mile. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to be all the time, I think. You have to educate clients. These clients sometimes come in and they don't know what they want. They don't know what they can do. So it's your job to teach them, to show them what is the right way to go to have what they want to have, which is every client that will tell you they want to make money,
Of
right?
course.
Sometimes it's not about money.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about the goals they want to achieve in that particular project. And this is coming out of a meeting that we had last week with a corporation, very important corporation. And you have the tendency to think that they are all about money when they are global and they are in telecommunication business. And the first thing they said is this event is all about the experience, the connection. We don't want to make money, and we don't want to lose money, but we don't want to make a profit. And and that's easier to focus because we have also the opposite. People that don't care about the content, they just want to make money, and that's not the solution for everything. So I totally agree with you. I mean, marketing, promotion is very, very important. And nowadays that you have many different ways of doing stuff, I mean, it should be easier, but at the same time, it's more complicated.
Yeah.
A few days ago, I found myself in a supermarket alley trying to buy cereal. Right when I was a young boy, there were two types of cereal. That's it. Okay. Nowadays, in order to go in and shop for cereal, you need to go home like 3 or 4 times because you have like so many different brands, so many
Yeah.
different types. And now, and what I'm bringing that analogy is because it's the same nowadays with marketing and with promotion. I mean, you need to learn how to listen to the people that knows how to do those stuff. And there is a natural connection between promotion and audiences because otherwise you're not going to reach them. So if you want to get your message across, you need to listen to the experts. And I believe that I know a lady that know how to do stuff.
Well, the thing is that marketing is it's marketing, right? And promotion is promotion.
Yeah.
What you just have to tap into is the what makes you as a organizer, as a business, as an association, what makes you different from everybody else.
Yeah.
You have to tap into that uniqueness as a business, as a person, as a personal brand, as a anything, right? So
Yeah.
um, if you find that niche, that specialty, and you know that your experiences and your history and you understand who your audience is, like your ideal client, then you can actually speak to them and they will say like, oh, okay, if you're this and this and that, but you're not this, and they know I'm like, oh, that's me.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
They're talking directly to me. They're connecting to me. So that's what I would say, yeah. But I want to say something before I get into the next question, which is a last question. But full disclosure, we are recording this in the month of May. Thank you. They are so busy. They're so busy for the next coming months that we decided that we were going to record this in May, and I hope I'm alive when this goes
Yeah.
up.
Me
Well,
too.
actually, we all hope. We all hope so.
Me too. I hope to survive.
Yeah, and and I want you to actually. We're doing this because they have these world event in Panama. So I wanted to create this podcast just also for that. I mean, obviously talking about associations and events, but I wanted to also give them a platform in here to talk about and tell us a little bit more and listen to what the event is all about. Oh my God, you're going to love it. What Tell us a little bit more about the World Robotic Olympiad in Panama in 2023 and what it's all about. Let Tell me because I'm dying to know everything too.
Yeah, I mean, the World Robot Olympiad is an annual event that goes around the globe. That was created by the World Robot Olympiad Association, based in Singapore. It's a truly global association. It has over 110 countries that are members of that particular association, and is directly linked to STEM education. science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So the whole idea is to promote and create momentum for the STEM education method. The STEM education method, what is aiming is to have children into lateral thinking, um, trying to teach them based on projects. So from a very early age, we have kids from 2 years old on already being educated using the STEM method, and it aims at creating strengths in soft skills. So not only the hard facts, but also the way how to address problems or challenges through collaboration and in a project based education. The fantastic story
Give me
behind
give
it.
me an
Yeah, yeah,
example,
yeah.
please.
Go ahead.
We need to get to
Go ahead.
not so technical. Give me the real talk about. Yeah, give me an example how it would look.
But actually, the World Robot Olympiad is a showcase of what STEM education can do. So you have national teams from over 90 countries, 110 countries, depending on the qualification. They spend the whole year working on a topic. Um, I mean, the challenges, they call it competition themes. This year in Panama, everybody has to work around better connections. That's the motto of the event, and what is aiming is to have better, safer logistics moving around. Panama is a service based country. We are in the belly bottom of the Americas. We have a Panama Canal. So logistics is what we breathe day and night. So with that in mind, the national organizer of Panama, that's how they call themselves. The national associations are called national organizers. They propose this topic. Though these topics have to be aligned with the objectives for sustainable development
Yeah.
that were created by the United Nations along with the Global Compact, as it is called. And teams around the world needs to go to regional competitions in order to present their projects. They have 3 or 4 categories. They have a category called Future Engineers. They have
Hmm.
another category called Future Innovators. They
Okay.
have a category called Robotic Missions or Robo Missions. And they have also a category called Robotic Sports or Robo Sports. Basically, what they do is they have to create a robot that are going to follow instructions through coding. So the kids are being taught how to code, I mean, how to program those robots, how to assemble those robots, and how create these solutions when you are competing in the future innovators
Hmm.
category. You need to produce projects on how to create safer and better connections to connect the world in general. So you need to come up with ideas. 130 teams are going to be competing in that particular
Wow.
category. And on top of that, we have about 650, give or take, 650, 700 teams from all over the world that are going to compete in robotic missions, in robotic sports, and in future engineers. And the future engineer category, because I mean, the robot missions and the robot sports are pretty obvious.
Yeah.
We have competition tables that have a mat, and that mat are going to have they're going to have routes, or they're going to have obstacles depending on the categories, and the robot needs to be programmed in order to sort all of that. But it's not with a remote control. Those robots are actually hard coded. Okay, so The teams spend the whole year working in their countries, in the robotic clubs, either in the school or in a extracurriculum robotic club. They
Yeah.
need to register themselves for the regional competitions, where it is in your neighborhood,
I
your
love this.
country. Then you need to qualify for the National Olympics of the
Wow.
Robot National Olympics. And then if you win, then you end in the international event. I mean, in the World Robot
Final,
Olympiad International
the
Final
final.
that is happening in Panama. Okay, so it's so exciting because you have 130 kids that are going to be showcasing and presenting to judges their solutions to connect the world better, and there are
Wow.
actual projects, okay, that need to be
This,
judged, and some of those are going to be incubated by somebody somewhere, and probably in 3 or 4 years time we're going to be consuming those end products without knowing
Where it
what is
started.
all behind. So the power of the Olympics is a showcase, it's a motivation for the teams to come up and practice all that is being taught to them in the classroom, in the robotic labs, whatever. What is the beauty of this in Panama and the impact that is having is that for the first time in this country and in the region, the public sector is introducing a law to create the STEM education curricula. So now in Panama, you don't need to attend a private school to have access to robotics. You are already doing it in your public school.
oh,
So
wow.
for those of you that are listening to me in Europe or in Asia or something, for you guys it doesn't make any sense, right? Because I mean, why is the difference between private education and public education? All right, in Latin America there are a lot of differences. So for us, it's a big victory to be able that in this particular year, 52% of the participants in the whole Olympia qualification system in Panama are coming from public schools. And in order for you to understand, in our
Wow.
countries, some schools don't have water, some schools don't have not even a roof,
Or
okay?
power.
Yeah.
Some schools don't even have power. And we have in Germany, the last year, the Robot Olympiad in Germany, one of our teams in Panama were coming from a rural, very rural area made out of indigenous people. And three guys that barely spoke English finished in the top 10 in future
Imagine. Oh,
engineers.
my.
So what I'm
Wow.
trying to put together is that the events are showcases.
I
Cynthia
want
wants
to
to
talk.
talk, Javier.
Yes, I'm
Yes,
about to
I'm
interrupt.
so
Thank you,
excited
Veronica.
about the
I can
story.
interrupt you because
No,
this is
Totally
my
I
sorry.
understand
podcast.
because this project
I'm
is
kidding.
so exciting.
I see
I'm
her
like,
putting
I
her
need to
hand
say
up.
something. But yeah, I mean, of course he's passionate because this event is so exciting and there's so much things happening in order to have the Olympiad in Panama. I wanted to share with you that we're expecting 5,000 competitors and participants, but of course we are not missing the opportunity to bring the entire education system to come and see the Olympiad. So there's a lot of logistic plans bringing in, trying to have visitors from all over the schools in Panama to come and see the Olympiad. But at the same time, we are working together with the organizers to make sure that they promote and give the tools to national organizers through the entire region of Latin America so they can actually compete and bring in their teams. And the other
Oh,
thing that is happening is that they are providing training for those teachers that have to, put together the robotics club, the in class and in their schools, and they're also training the judges to come up to the standards and understand the rules and all the terms and conditions about the international competition so we can be ready for the World Robotic Olympiad in November. So it's so overwhelming everything that is happening, and for us, of course, is a major opportunity to just be part of this project is so exciting, and we're giving it, everything we can, because we've been part of the strategic planning, we're being part of the budgeting, we're being logistics, and seeing it happening finally. It's not, just what we thought it was a dream, but it's actually happening, and it will happen in November. Hopefully we survive.
I love some of the things that we actually do, and not many people know, is that we end up talking as if we are experts in robotics. We end up talking as if we're
Yeah,
experts
in
in
education,
cardiology
of
or
course.
nephrology, because we get so into the associations, the events that we actually organize, that we
Yeah,
feel
we are
like
ambassadors of each project.
completely.
Yeah,
Yeah, we live and breathe
yeah.
those events from the
And
first
also,
moment until the last day we say
Vero,
bye.
the other thing that I want to add is that we are impacting about I can't remember the exact name, but the whole education system in Panama. Because one of the beauties of this project is that they have created this public-private alliance, um, public sector. Actually, the ambassador of goodwill for STEM education in the Americas is the first lady of Panama, and she's been devoted to this event without being a governmental event, because this is all brought to the table by a father that actually had two brilliant kids that were so into robotics that they won the national Olympic like 8 9 years ago. And when they went competing in Russia, they were you know saying that they were last is a bit of a compliment, and they felt so frustrated knowing that they don't have the tools to develop those skills, not even to win anything. The motivation was to have a better education, and one of those kids is now with a full scholarship in Stanford in
Man.
California, studying electronic engineering, and he has already do internships in Google and in Microsoft, so on and on. And everything is done because he learned how to think at a very early age. So for me, that's the key, the impact that is created. And with that in mind, we as organizers create satellite forum, taking advantage of what is happening, because you're bringing a lot of brilliant minds. There are countries that for them this is natural. Okay, what are you talking about? The future. The future is here now. But for us, it's a big thing. For others, it's not. For other countries, we are way years ahead. So we want to level the whole thing, and we created a forum that is going to be of free access to people, to educators, to enthusiasts, to learn from those minds how to implement a STEM education program. The beauty of this, Vero, and it's very touching, is that you go to areas of very low income, and you find a public school, very modest, very humble school with a robotic program, and the kids are playing around with the robots that they have created from donations or
Never thought
whatever
of that.
at a
Wow.
very early age, 2 years old on. So for me, that's the key. And for us as event organizers, that we talk about meaningful, purposeful events or events with purpose. This is what we talk about. This
Yeah.
is the real deal. When there is no money that is going to pay for that satisfaction, I'm sure of that. So for me, that's the icing
When
in the
is the
cake.
event? Can we have the date of the event?
It's going to be November from the 7th to 9th of November of 2023 in Panama City. The Panama Convention Center is going to be the venue. And as Javi mentioned, we're aiming for 100 and how many countries? 100 and
110,
110 countries.
110.
And 5,000 participants, more than 100 assistants from the Panama education system and the region, if so, because we're working also on that.
Yeah.
Um,
100,000.
100,000, yes, I'm sorry. And as many other events, and as we said earlier, a lot of things are going to happen there. Not just the competition, and not just the showcase of the competition, but a lot of policies, decision makers, countries are going to be involved, and definitely it's going to be a before and after. Um,
For sure. For sure. I'm now even rethinking of the date of the launch of this podcast because maybe I should launch it in October so that you can put it out and people get to know about this event. Because if I put it in November, then it's going to be over.
right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and I want you to please put stuff outside about what's going on because this is so interesting. Well, I mean, we've never had an event like that we've organized.
No.
So this is, to me, is mind blowing. The whole, oh, the whole concept of this new world that we're discovering as event planners.
Vero,
Like who
I
knew all of
remember
this?
watching the Olympiadas, the Olympics, the sports Olympics, and I remember saying to my older daughter, saying, that as an event organizer, you're dreaming of doing something like that. Well, I think this is pretty close. I'm sure there's a lot of more work to that, but it's baby steps, and this is definitely a huge step for that. Being part of this, I have my own version of the Olympics.
Okay. I'm going to say something right now. And it's sorry, guys, if you're listening, but this is something that I've always wanted to do. And now that I have Javi here, I would like him to do something that he doesn't know that I'm asking. And you may not understand what is going to happen, but I will translate. Javi, we're in a place here. I would love for you to do the lo mejor de los 60, 70 y 80.
Yeah, I didn't know
This is
that I
something that we
wanted to
used to
be
do.
a
Wait, wait,
commentator.
wait. Let me explain. This is something that we used to do in the office with the phones. And we were working late, of course. And he would grab the phone. Imagine this, an old kind of phone. And he would go like this as if he was on the radio, like listening to a radio station. So I want to give you the opportunity here to say what we always say, because you just said it a few minutes ago.
Con lo mejor de los 60, 70 y 80 éxitos Hit 100. Radio Congrex Americas, broadcasting live from Panama City, Panama, and the Panama Canal. Que sopa, loco.
I love it. We had to do it. I'm sorry. I had to do it. I mean, this needs to be for the ages.
We're
I'm so
thrilled
happy
to
we
be
were
here,
both here.
Vero. Thank you for the opportunity. I think this is a fantastic way to express how much fun we have, even in the
Exactly.
hard times. So, if you are doubtful of what to do with your life, start organizing events.
No.
If you're not right in the head, like my Scots friends used to say.
They're
Thank
breaking
you for
your
this
office.
amazing opportunity, and we are just very grateful about the entire experience. I know this is also very important for you, so thank you for making us being part of that.
Oh, uh, to me is the people that I love and that I value and that I know that can give so much to other people that maybe they don't know where they are or they don't know. I only want to bring people that I feel comfortable talking to, unfortunately. I know a lot of people pitch to be on my podcast, and I'm saying, like, no, sorry, not yet. I'm not there yet. I still want to explore and bring people that I know, that I work with as well, and that have good hearts and that they put all their love and passion into what they do, into a service. Because
Yeah.
I'm all about serving. We are all about serving.
We learn from the
We serve.
best. We learn from the best. And I'm gonna do something that was not scripted, okay? But this young lady here has a fantastic mother that had brought us all into this path. Diana Feo Corado de Tamayo, I cannot thank you
He
enough.
had to put all the last names.
I cannot thank you enough for teaching me a lot of things without knowing that you were teaching me. Okay. Uh, Part of a lot of what I'm doing today is due to that visionary woman. Um, I have to say that next year it's going to be 50 years of that fantastic idea that she
Shut
had
up. Why are
back
you
in
saying that?
74.
I am born with the company.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
You
So,
kidding
so
me? I
thank
know.
you so very much to get me in the right path. I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there that was impacted by her good deeds and her goodwill without knowing that she was part of your success. So thank you, Diana, and thank you, Vero, because you're not my partner. You're my sister
Yeah, I
from
know. You're my
life,
bro. Yeah.
and there are a lot of people out there that has so much potential, guys, and we are not actually doing much for them. According to UNICEF, about 4.3 million children are migrating along the Americas continent without being a choice. Is forced immigration, and those 4.3, I think it is, million children are in precarious ways. I mean, they have no means for living. They are in extreme poverty, and if you put it into context, that's the size of a Central American country. I mean, Panama has 4.5, 4.7 million. Our children are in danger. And forced immigration, is not always a threat. It is also an opportunity. We have a lot of people, over 7.2 million people, actually it's 11 million people, are roaming around the American continent without having a war in the side of the world. There is not a war here. And over 11 million people are roaming around. And they are not all bad people. I myself am an immigrant. I am an immigrant, and I don't consider myself a bad people. So this is my crusade. Every time that I'm invited to speak anywhere, I have to talk about the people that is not so lucky as we, the people that didn't have a Diana Feo Corao in their lives, or they don't have a Veronica, or they don't have any other people that can influence them correctly. So thank you very much, Vero. Thank you very much to your mom as well, and let's do something for making this world better. More action, less talk.
I like that. More action, less talk. Well, guys, thank you very much for coming and for joining us. And I hope to see you same time, same place next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.